On the old Cedar Avenue Bridge over the Long Meadow Lake in the southern corner of Bloomington. It's a historic structure that was originally built in 1920. It's a 5-span camelback bridge and was put on the National Historic Register in 2013. The bridge was turned over to Bloomington in 1981 from MnDOT. We closed it to vehicular traffic in 1993, and then we closed it to all traffic, including pedestrians and bicyclists, in 2002. The biggest problems are on the lower chords and the lower spans. As we stand out here and you see the snow, in Minnesota it snows, we get weather, and to combat that we put a lot of salt down on the roads. Well, salt rusts metal, so after time some of the members had deteriorated and it could no longer carry the full function, the load for a road bridge. And it's also narrower than today's standards, so MnDOT replaced this bridge back in the 1980s with the new Trunk Highway 77 bridge and turned this bridge back over to the city of Bloomington. To do this historic renovation of this bridge, we actually ended up building essentially 3 bridges. We built one temporary bridge alongside of it, one bridge above it so we could lift the existing structure, and then of course the existing structure was the 3rd bridge. So there were 3 bridge constructions as part of this renovation project. The city of Bloomington doesn't do a lot of old rehabilitation projects because a lot of the community was built in the early 50s. Yeah, we have our old town hall and we have some significant historic properties around town, but we don't have a lot of them, so it's a fairly unique project for the city of Bloomington. Because this bridge is on the National Historic Register, we wanted to keep as much of the original historic fabric as possible. So we left a lot of the steel superstructure and some of the plates where possible. Now, given that it was originally constructed in 1920 and it's 2017 now, after almost 100 years, some of those things had gotten a little rusty, but if they were still functioning and we thought they would function well for the future, we just blasted the rust off and repainted them. We didn't replace them. We worked with a historian to make sure that the renovation met all the criteria and we were cognizant of the standards. The railing behind us is similar to the original railing, but because this is now a bike and pedestrian facility, it's a little bit taller than historic, and it also has the stainless steel cables to prevent people from falling through, but we tried to be as respectful of the history of the bridge as possible. It is very nice to see the final product. Of course, like any engineer, you look at all the things that are wrong, and those are all the historic things that we left intentionally, but they drive me a little crazy. Depending on the light of the sun, it sometimes looks like the paint is peeling. It's not. We left it there on purpose, but it's one of those things that unless you know that reason, you're going to look at it and go, now why the heck did they do that? We're very excited that CEAM awarded us Project of the Year for this special project. You don't get many historic bridge renovation projects in a career, and it's turned out really well. We've had very good positive feedback from the community and both the bikers and pedestrian users. It was really nice to see how well received it was, and then even here in January, middle of January, we've had several people walk by and fat tire bikers, and it's well used. We'd like to thank a lot of people: U.S. Fish and Wildlife, where the bridge resides, SRF, our consultant, Hess Royce, the historian for the project, Majeski and Masters, who helped with the steel structure, along with Braun Intertech. We'd like to thank the contractor, Kramer, and all of their subs. We'd also like to thank MnDOT and all of their units, including State Aid, the Cultural Resource Unit, and of course the Bridge Office. Lastly, we'd like to thank Jim Gates for having the vision of what the bridge could be and obtaining the funding for it. It takes a special group of people to put together a successful project like this, and we're very appreciative to everyone who participated.